Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Sportsight's webinar series, Turning Realtors into Mold Testing Advocates. We're glad that you could join us, and we hope that today's webinar will give you some tools that will enable you to approach a very active market, the one that is actually doing the selling of the homes. And be able to promote mold testing to this valuable group of people. The topics that we're going to cover today in today's webinar are first, I'll introduce just a bit about who Sportsight is and what we do. And then we'll dive right into the benefits of mold testing for real estate agents. And that'll also include selling mold testing to real estate agents. And then I'd like to run through some marketing resources with you. And at the end, if we have time, we'll be able to field some questions from you, the attendees. Just a side note, you can ask questions at any point during the presentation using your chat function. And at the end, during the Q&A, we will get to any questions that you've asked. So first of all, my name's Troy Bankyard. I'm the VP of Marketing for TechSight and Sportsight. I've been doing this for quite a while now. And TechSight itself is a company that was founded in 2013. And from day one, we've specialized in artificial intelligence, in more particular machine learning, in fact, deep machine learning. We do this by automating tests that traditionally have been performed using microscopy. Now, we have three different verticals. And the first, of course, is Sportsight, which performs environmental analysis. The second, TechSight, which performs human analysis. Notably, we recently, within the past few years, have announced our collaboration with Mayo Clinic, who chose TechSight to be their digital platform. And so they give us their talent, resources, and immense slide library to help us create new algorithms for medical purposes. And then the third vertical that TechSight has is animal analysis, so the veterinarian market. And there we have licensed our technology to a company called Zoetis, who are world leaders in everything that is veterinarian diagnostics and reagents. And so within these three areas, we aim to have a positive impact in digital pathology, in the quality of the air that's around us, as well as for our pets. The Sportsight Laboratory is an AIHA MPAT participant. We also have our Texas Mold Analysis Laboratory license, and we are just waiting the confirmation letter for our 17025 ISO accreditation. And Sportsight itself is very committed to making home inspectors' lives better. And we do this by providing quick, accurate, consistent, and affordable solutions for home inspectors to conduct professional mold inspections. And that is arguably the best report in the industry that we offer. And we have recently started to offer same-day turnaround and overnight shipping. Now, this is a big introduction for us because what it allows us to do is even better serve our home inspectors. And as you can see here, we are dedicated to service, service, service. So without further ado, let's jump right into the benefits of mold testing for real estate agents. And the first question you might ask is, well, why would they be concerned with that? Well, a real estate agent's primary job is protecting the client's interests. And one way they can do this is to ensure comprehensive property disclosure. When you discuss with real estate agents, or when you meet them, or when you want to befriend and establish relationships with them, it's important to let them know that they can provide their buyers with a complete picture of the property's condition through a home inspection, and that includes mold testing, which can reveal hidden issues that aren't detected during just a normal standard inspection. And what this does is it gives their clients peace of mind because the real estate agent knows that their client can then make an informed decision on the house that they're buying. There are also valid health and safety considerations that should concern any real estate agent, notably potential health risks related to mold exposure, such as respiratory issues, allergies, and other long-term health effects. Any healthy home is going to enhance the living environment for the buyers, especially those with young children, elderly family members, or individuals with pre-existing health conditions. And this information, it doesn't come from us. In fact, on our mold resources page, which you can see on the screen, we have several credible authors or sources of that kind of information that you could easily go and gather to be able to discuss with real estate agents. And by the way, these resources will be made available to you after this webinar. Another way that real estate agents can protect their home buyers' interests is in preventing future disputes and litigation, both for you, the home inspector, and the real estate agent. One of, I guess you could say, the fears or the things that you try and avoid is the potential for future disputes and legal issues. And mold is definitely one of those hidden threats that can lead to this post-purchase. And so the addition of a home inspection, the addition of the mold inspection to a normal home inspection is a very useful tool that can prevent accusations of non-disclosure or negligence. And so the notion of reducing liability comes into play. And the first way that this happens is in minimizing the risk of legal actions. And so anyone selling a property with undisclosed mold issues opens themselves up to the legal implementations that can come from hidden vices or hidden damages to the homes. The conducting and disclosing of a mold test can protect agents from claims of negligence or misrepresentation. And maintaining thorough records of all the inspections and findings serves as evidence, or can serve as evidence, that the agent took reasonable steps to uncover and address potential issues. We had a case of one of our home inspectors who was actually called into court for a case where an apartment owner was suing the owner of the complex because of mold issues. And the home inspectors, because of our reports, was able to even avoid having to testify because the reports were so clear, and the case ended favorably for the tenant. Now, mitigating financial and professional consequences is one of the other ways that real estate agents can reduce their liability by making sure that when you speak to real estate agents, you expose the potential financial cost of litigation and settlements that can arise from undisclosed mold problems. Well, those also impact the agent's professional reputation and the potential loss of their license or disciplinary action from real estate boards. Both of these points are, of course, important to real estate agents. And so, how do we do this? How do we sell mold testing to real estate agents? Well, there are several ways to do this, from educating, highlighting success stories that you might have had, showing them your services, and then, of course, lastly, talking about how you can offer this service. So let's go into that a bit. Educating the real estate agents means going through the benefits of mold testing to them. Now, SporeSight has many of these benefits. We've talked about a few here today, but also in addressing common objections and misconceptions. And again, I'd point you to the Pro Resources page on our website, which includes the mold resource page. On there, we try and list many of these common objections and misconceptions about mold testing. There are a lot of rumors, there are a lot of bad press that's gone on by, unfortunately, costly and in some cases actual unscrupulous testing that happens. And this is where both Sporesight, but in your own practices, any real world examples where mold testing has helped real estate transactions go through, and testimonials from satisfied real estate agents and clients can be a big help. We have several of these both on the website that you can use, and as we move forward and our community of home inspectors reaches out to us, we will of course be using these as well. But anytime you have stories to help them, we of course encourage you to use them. The next way you can do this is by explaining quick turnaround. It's super important for a real estate agent to ensure that the deal won't be slowed up by pretty much anything. That's one of their biggest fears. And so explaining that you can conduct a mold test simultaneously with your regular home inspection is a big selling point. You can explain the resulting turnaround times, same day turnaround, overnight shipping, won't slow down any part of the escrow or the due diligence process during a home buying deal. And none of this will be slowed down by using Sporesight's mold testing service. And so from your perspective as a home inspector, being able to provide that added service of mold inspection also increases the overall offering that you're able to present to real estate agents who ultimately will be recommending your service. And so one of the ways that can be effective in doing this is in looking at some of the different advantages of this technology. So the first one is the fact that traditionally, in going through mold testing, the reports and the analysis was all done manually. Now, the reality in performing microscopy analysis is that it takes a lot of time. The technicians in the laboratory are forced to look at very high magnifications at extremely small areas of the slide at a time. Well, for obvious reasons, it becomes unfeasible economically to have someone spending a half an hour, 45 minutes to be able to analyze a complete trace. This leads to the reality that a normal manual human read will only result in them actually being able to look at and inspect 20 to 30% of any given slide material. And the problem with that is that often when you're looking for contaminants in air, it's like looking at a needle, or looking for a needle in a haystack. They might be in areas that they simply didn't have time to look at. Likewise, humans looking through a microscope all day in these laboratories are naturally subject to some of the human frailties that we all are, from distraction to fatigue to the inter and intra-operator biases that we sometimes fall subject to. Artificial intelligence doesn't. It enables our technologists who perform the final inspections on our slide to avoid the entire process of having to look for contaminants in the air. Why? Because the AI has already done that, and it does it across in the entirety of the slide. And so it rather presents those objects of interest to the technologist, whose role then becomes both more interesting but also more effective, because then all they do is confirm or challenge what the AI is showing them, which provides a lot more motivation for them, but it also more importantly means that their reads will be more accurate, more consistent, and also that the technologist will be able to spend more time doing what they're paid to do, which is analyze, which is make that critical thinking that humans are so good at, because the AI has taken out the time aspect of just searching for things. And so in our laboratory, that's how we use the AI to be able to improve the service that we're able to offer in mold testing. It's not only faster, but it's more accurate and more consistent. The second part is in our reports. I'll go back up here. Our reports are unanimously considered to be the best in the industry because we don't present the results in the traditional laboratory way with a lot of numbers and indications that just aren't intuitive for either home inspectors or home buyers. We've tried our best to simplify them, and we even include the actual images of what's in the air that the client is breathing. And all of these points for a real estate agent who, and you as a home inspector who is trying to reassure and convince the home buyer or seller to add a mold inspection, are very important arguments that you can use. And so these different ways are all tools that you can use to sell the mold testing to real estate agents. And I wanted to go through some marketing resources with you that we've created and have that can help you in your practice in talking with real estate agents. The first, as I mentioned, is our pro resources section on the website, which has a lot of tools for you to use, including the Mold Resource Center that I mentioned earlier. In there are links to a lot of great information that you can share with new contacts that you make with real estate agents. The second is a landing page that we've actually created, a landing page that from this brochure that we've created for you will give them even more readily available information about adding mold testing to their service offering to their clients. Now, we've included all of this we will include it in the email that we'll send you. For now, I would like to briefly, for those of you who have attended other of our webinars in our marketing series, you'll know that we have developed some Canvas templates for you. And what we have here is, you'll recognize the Canva interface. We've actually created a brochure template for you that you can either print off or use as a PDF. And this is what you will see when you log in. This particular image is a placeholder where you can simply insert your logo, your company's logo. You can also go through and change things like the colors, the fonts if you want. And we haven't locked down any parts of this particular template, which means that you can adapt or change this text as you wish. And this QR code leads to the landing page that I spoke of earlier, which will give real estate agents a very direct set of information to be able to present to their clients in recommending home inspections that have mold inspections. And then lastly, on this template, we've included our information here, but of course you will want to insert your contact information of your company. And so this template we have made available to anyone on the email that we will send you after this recording. Wonderful. And so with that, I would like to now come into the Q&A part of our webinar. And if any of you have any questions concerning selling mold inspections to real estate agents, you can ask them in your chat. We have a first here by Mark, who is asking, what is the best way to communicate these messages to agents? Call, in person? It's a good question. There are both resources and techniques that you can use in making the first step to contacting real estate agents. One of the most popular is going to be a personalized approach. There aren't going to be hundreds of real estate agents in a practicable area surrounding you. And given a certain amount of time, either daily or weekly, you can set aside to actually contacting, either visiting, making phone calls, emailing a brochure to real estate agents to establish those connections. But by far, the most impactful way of going about that is the personalized approach, by speaking to them, letting them know you're there, no pressure, giving them the resources, because it's really those resources, those arguments that will help them feel more comfortable proposing the services. We've got a question from John, who wants to learn more on the subject where he would be able to find more resources. Yeah. So in terms of the resources, I think we covered this towards the end, actually. On our website, sportsite.com, there are two specific places that you can go to get more information. We have a section called the Pro Resources page, which contains all sorts of things. We've even done other webinars specifically to presenting our reports, to how it actually works, going through the whole process. We have marketing brochures. We've got the marketing brochure that we presented to you today. And we have the Mold Resource Center. Now, the Mold Resource Center is specifically designed to give more information on mold, its impacts, even carrying out the assessment and mold remediation. But there are links there to the EPA's Mold Center, the CDC, the American Lung Association, the Environmental Protection Agency for indoor air quality, the NIH, and the World Health Organizations. And so we have those links at sporesight.com/mold-resources. And again, we will be sending all of those to you in the email that will also include this recording. David asked, what are your costs for laboratory reports for a sample? This is actually a question that's just our basic service, but we offer our standard mold report is going to be $20. And we can even provide return shipping for $31.99. We offer a starter kit, which includes a professional pump, a calibration set of tools, plus 3 free reports and a return shipping label with 3 cassettes for $140. All of that information is on the site, but the core pricing is $20 per sample, which is extremely affordable considering traditional mold testing costs. Daryl has asked, should we suggest air quality testing on every inspection or just when suspicious? My answer might seem a bit biased, and I guess that I'm not going to be able to escape that, but I will honestly tell you that we would recommend, for 2 reasons, systematically offering a mold test. First of all is the cost and time to the home inspector, which is very affordable. And I say that that's the first reason because those are often the barriers to entry. The real reason why systematically our recommendation would be to encourage either the home buyer or the home seller to offer a mold inspection is because the most dangerous cases of mold are the ones that aren't detected and remediated. And often those are the ones that aren't seen, where you can just do an on-site inspection and see that there's mold. In fact, obviously, if you can see the traces of mold, you know it's there and you can go straight to remediation. The cases where mold inspection are strongest and are the most useful are the ones where it's in a crawl space, or it's after you had a bust a frozen pipe during the winter, and then that moisture just stays there. We're in a crawl space and the mold isn't readily visible. Those are the cases when it's the most important to do it, because then you get into the potential for litigation, or at least accusation of hidden vices or hidden problems with the house. And that is precisely what our service aims at, providing a way to avoid those potential problems. Wonderful. So it looks like we've got one last question. Ron asks, my state recommends labs that are accredited by the American Industrial Hygiene Association's Environmental Microbiology Laboratory Accreditation Program. Is Sporesight accredited by this organization? That's another good question. Yeah, the EMALP is an accreditation that we will have by the end of Q3. So by September at the latest, we will have that accreditation as well. In the beginning, I mentioned several that we have already, and this is one that we are completing now and should have the confirmation of by Q3 2024. And so you'll be able to reassure your real estate agents of that accreditation as well. Well, there we go. I think we've run through our questions, and I would like to thank everyone who has attended today's webinar. We will be sending out the recording, most likely tomorrow, so that you'll all have access to this material, as well as the brochure and the landing page. You'll get the links to those and all of the other resources. We honestly hope that as you start reaching out to real estate agents, that the material that we've given you today can help you establish and build those relationships of trust with them, so that they can start working for you and bringing you business for mold testing with your normal home inspections. So with that, I will wish you all a very pleasant afternoon and all the success in your home inspection businesses. Thanks for attending. Bye-bye.